a gamble. That gamble has really paid off handsomely because he was not happy at the end of that morning warm-up session. Now he's doing a terrific job.
And a lot of that, Paul, is because they put new tires on that car. The Milwaukee track really loves new tires. Anytime a track gets a lot of weather on it, it gets rocks that are sticking up in the track instead of smooth pavement. You can't see it on the camera, but it's just little tiny rocks. And the thicker the tires are, the more the rubber wraps around those little rocks.
Al Unser Jr. now as he charges on Scott Brayton. This is a battle for 7th place, currently occupied by Brayton. But little Al, whoop, and that's Fernandez against the wall. Yellow comes out again. We were talking about little Al, and this is his teammate. But what is that in front? What is that piece laying out on the track?
That should be part of the body on the left.
Several other cars. The 19 car, that's the MyJack machine, Lyondike. There's the view from Ari. Several cars getting together.
And you can see that one of the Penske cars is involved, and it looks like Paul Tracy stepping out.
Tracy again
involved in an accident.
And Robbie Gordon misses his pit. He cut in a little too hard. Let's go to Jack.
And Paulie was so worried about speeding that he missed his pit. They had to back the car up. The reason they have to do that, as you can see, the fuel hoses won't fit. A.J. Foyt looked it over, cracked a smile, though, because they're extremely pleased with how the car is running. They're going to exchange 4 tires, and the original wisdom was going to be they were going to go with stickers. They've decided to go back to the scuffs. A.J.'s very happy with the run so far by his young protege, Robbie Gordon.
So Robbie Gordon gets his stop finally made. Here's what brought out the yellow. Fernandez spins.
Fernandez, who had been doing such a beautiful job up until then.
He's against the wall. Now, apparently, everything else happened down below Fernandez. It's the first time that we're seeing it. Here's Ari Lyondike's view, Bobby.
Well, Ari's going into turn 1. There's Ray Hall off to the left in front of him there. He got hit from behind. Obviously, somebody hit him. If it didn't hit him, which is what I'm sure happened, then something broke furiously on the car, but I think he got hit, Paul.
Well, you could see from that view that Hernandez's car was also against the wall, so apparently he was climbing out of the throttle and then got nailed from behind. We'll try to clarify this a little more, but it's taken out Lyondike. It's also taken out the leader of the race, Paul Tracy, and given the lead over to Raul Boesel under the yellow. We'll be back. Paul Tracy at the wheel in the lead and in an accident. The accident started with Adrian Fernandez, who spun quickly and got into the wall, but then it appeared, and we'll try and get some visuals here to support this, but it appeared as we watch Paul Tracy and Ari Lyondike heading back, wondering no doubt exactly how this all occurred, but it appeared that Lyondike saw the accident ahead. You see the accident happening, and at the same time he got hit from behind. Now logically that is Paul Tracy that hit him, because Tracy was following closely behind Lyondike, and that took him to the wall. Here you see, there they are. There's Lyondike, and Paul Tracy is tucked right into his side. So things happen fast on a bull ring, and this happened very fast as well.
This is a very different kind of accident for Paul Tracy than the one at Phoenix. This was a chain reaction thing. The Phoenix one was a judgment error. This is different.
Let's go down to Jack Arute.
Well, you talk about how quick things can happen on a 1-mile bull ring. They happen fast on pit road as well. When that caution came out, the Robbie Gordon car was pulling onto the pit road. He overshot his pits. A.J. Foyt was on the radio yelling to his crew, go around, go around. They misunderstood exactly what he was saying, so they backed him up. He went a lap down. What A.J.'s doing now is talking it over with his crew, and believe it or not, that's the calmest I've ever seen A.J. Foyt. He was a little hotter before, but he's trying to explain, as a former driver, what you need to do now that he's an owner. Let's check in with Gary Gerald. Gary?
Well, Jack, it's interesting. Boesel has stayed on the track. We assumed that he'd still have to make a splash and go or hope for another yellow. That's not the case, according to Dick Simon. They've made 2 stops. He says, we think we've got enough laps here under yellow. It's going to be a squeaker, but we think we can go the distance. Everybody else among the leaders has come in under the yellow to get the necessary fuel. We know they're good. The question now, is Raul Boesel going to be good enough to make it to the lap 200?
Well, there's some guts. Dick Simon looking at his first possible win. and looking at running all the way to the finish on his current load of fuel. Raul Boesel is in front in the Miller Genuine Draft 200. Nigel Mansell is just behind him. We'll be back for the restart right after this message.
Town hit. Indy cars take to the streets for the ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix next Sunday on ABC.
Back at the Milwaukee Mile, still under the caution for the multiple car accident. Nobody injured involving Adrian Fernandez, Ari Lyondike, and the leader of the race, Paul Tracy. Look at this. The number one car, we mentioned him right at the top of the race, Bobby Rahal, now runs in fourth place. He's played the traffic very well and sits in a great position.
He's often said that when he is embarrassed, as he was, of course, at Indy last week, he rebounds incredibly strongly. Remember, last year he spun out at Portland, which was the race before Milwaukee. He had a bad finish at Portland. He came back and finished second here.
So now as the pace begins to pick up, and we'll be coming back to a green flag again, keeping an eye on Raul Boesel, and look at the lead that he got coming off of the corner. And there is Nigel Mansell as he comes down inside Robbie Gordon. Gordon, remember, is a lap down. Mansell runs in second place, and Mansell has traffic to deal with. Fittipaldi is just back behind Mansell in third place.
Now, Boesel is leading right now, Paul, but let's just keep one thing in mind as we watch it. He has not stopped for fuel. He's going to be very close on fuel. The biggest problem is going to be that he doesn't have enough tire to be really quick at the very end. That, in my opinion, is his main problem.
Mansell is driving exactly the kind of race he raced at Indianapolis last week, which was cautious in one sense and yet aggressive in another. And once again, he's worked up from an indifferent starting position to a commanding situation in the race.
Keeping an eye on the second place car, Nigel Mansell, the red number 5. Remember, this man is still not fully recovered from that incident in Phoenix, despite the fact that he drove the Indianapolis 500 last week. Still a very sore back, but it almost seems like pain drives this man to even faster laps.
It is an incredible thing to watch Nigel Mansell absorb all of IndyCar racing the way he has. I mean, he has never IndyCar racing the way he has. I mean, he has never driven on these ovals before, and yet he is competitive right away. He's never made this kind of pit stop, and yet he has grasped the strategy. He's racing against a whole bunch of drivers he never even heard of until the beginning of this year, and yet he's handling them beautifully.
Not only is he particularly bright about all of this, he is very keen to do it. There is one of his two car owners, Carl Haas, keeping track of his car. Mansell seems to be truly enjoying himself. We've said that before, but this entire year, a great smile. He likes the guys he's hanging with. This morning, he was down joking with A.J. Foyt just before the start.
You know, it doesn't make any difference how you look at it. When you're on board with him right now with the camera, as a racing driver, you can say, hey, the guy's at the right place on the racetrack all of the time. He makes very few mistakes. I've never seen a rookie in my life that's gained as fast as he has in IndyCar racing.
And remember, he's driving an entirely different kind of car than he was driving in Formula One last year, that Williams with the automatic suspension, the automatic gearbox.
And Mike Groff slows down on the course and slows down in a place that may bring out yet another yellow. They were running static at the front of the field. As we watch Mike, let's go to Gary Gerald. Gary, you have an update?
An update on Bobby Rahal, not aware of the problem with Groff, but Rahal has a problem as well. His car is stuck in 5th gear, and so he has to stay in that gear. If he were have to pit under yellow, he'd have a major problem. So there is apparently a gremlin on the first time out of the box for this brand new Lola.
Well, if Groff's yellow brings out, if Groff's problems bring out a yellow, that's going to really hurt Rahal. Wouldn't that be ironic?
Bobby Rahal stuck in 5th gear. How will that affect his run here? Aren't the top 2 gears good for him?
Well, the problem is
there's a stop-and-go penalty for Scott Brayton for passing Rahal just before they came back to the green.
And you know why he did? Because Rahal was stuck in 5th gear, and I saw him waving Brayton by, actually. Yellow.
You know, that's one of the things that the officials can't know. That's going to be a mistake on Scott Brayton, but they didn't know that. There's no way to know it. But what's going to happen now with Rahal is he's stuck in the 5th gear. He can't put it in the 4th. He can't put it in the neutral. He's going to have to start the race in 5th. left, and that's hard.
And as you can tell, the yellow has come out because of Mike Ross' car on the circuit. That slows the field once again, closes them up. Raul Boesel is still the leader. Nigel Mansell is second. Fittipaldi is in third. And fourth place is still Bobby Rahal, despite his problem with fifth and sixth gear. We'll be back. Milwaukee Mile, the Miller Genuine Draft 200 is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft Light, the cold filtered light with a smooth draft taste. MGD Lights, say no more. By Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug. By Armor all tire foam, just spray and walk away. And by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me.
With his movements, he's trying to explain to everybody that it wasn't him, it was the car. But I don't know that everybody's going to understand that.
That was Andretti moving low. And Boesel is in second place still. But they will come back in contact with one another. Paul Newman and Carl Haas discussing the situation now and how they will keep their car in front, though he has been running laps faster than the second place car, that 9 car of Raul Boesel.
Dick Simon there. He started his racing career in Indy cars back in 1970. He owned and drove his own cars until he retired in 1988, and that's when he began to focus on being a car owner, and he has been coming on and on and on.
You know, one of the things that makes it awfully hard on us sometimes, 2 cars looking like Mansell's and Mario's. Boy, we thought when he's passing Mario, that was Mansell. Really would have changed the race under those conditions.
So behind the PPG pace car now, Nigel Mansell. The only difference in the car, beside the number, which is very difficult to see, is the red roll bar on Mario Andretti's car. We have 4 laps to go to the finish, and we'll see if they're going to get Robbie Gordon's car totally clear, possibly a 2-lap dash.
This race could end under the yellow, but it seems highly unlikely. I think we will see a 2-lap dash.
We look down through the entire field right now. After 196 laps, we're just completing 197 right now. Mansell slaps it down, looks for a lower gear. And they say they will go back to green at the conclusion of this lap. The safety crews, the IndyCar safety crews, are rushing to their positions at the side of the track so they can clear the course. All
right, remember, we're looking at 2 very highly motivated drivers in Mansell and Raul Boesel. Both men ran brilliantly at Indy last week into 3rd and 4th, respectively. It's Boesel in the orange car. Danny Sullivan sits in between them. He's been slow in this race. There's Mansell. Both men out of Formula One and now into Indy cars.
And remember, Nigel Mansell had a problem coming back to the green flag a week ago at Indianapolis.
And again, he's slow, Paul, as he comes up to the green.
As Boesel looks for room wherever he can. Nigel Mansell holding him off. If Nigel can win here today, he would be the first foreign driver to win at this track since Jimmy Clark in 1963. The same, of course, would be true for Raul Boesel. The 2 of them separated now by just a few feet.
Were the race to end this way, Mansell would have a whopping 70 championship points, and Boesel would move into second with 52.
Nigel Mansell takes a look at the white flag. He sends himself down the back straightaway. 1 straightaway to go now on the backside. Nigel Mansell taking a look down inside of turn number 3, and Mansell can sense that checkered flag ahead. Boesel tries to close in. He can't get the job done, and Nigel Mansell picks up the win. Nigel Mansell's first win on an oval, and he continues his point lead. Congratulations to Newman Haas in second place. Boesel. Fittipaldi is in third. Bobby Rahal with a 4th place finish. Al Unser Jr. up to 5th, and Scott Brayton comes home in 6th place. So the race has been run at Milwaukee. The Miller Genuine Draft 200 won by Mansell.
The Miller Genuine Draft 200 has been brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft Light, the cold filtered light with smooth draft taste. MGD Lights, say no more. By Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug. By Armor All tire foam, just spray and walk away. And by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, the world's top gymnasts go for the gold. From Birmingham, England, it's the men's all-around final of the World's Gymnastics Championships. Plus, world-class runners hit the streets of New York in the Advil Mini Marathon and hold on for mountain biking. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.